Hey, good afternoon. Good afternoon. I'm gonna turn the music down here. And then we're gonna do a quick audio sync test. Make sure that nothing strange happened in there. So we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4. Testing, testing. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I think it looks okay. All right. Yeah, I'm so paranoid about it now that since I had the that video that the audio was all screwed up on, now I'm paranoid about it. But yeah, how are you guys doing? Hoping you're having a good start to your week. My week was spent at the car dealership getting the oil changed, and then had to replace some tires. So $500 later, and I'm back home. Cars are just big giant money pits, man. I mean, they really are. They just take all your monies. Okay, so we're gonna jump in here, get going. We're still working on my alt text generator project idea thingamabobber. For if you're new, or if you're just showing up to the party, this is kind of what I'm trying to get after. It's just a tool to solve my own problem, which is basically we're gonna have an API that's gonna be served from my server, running in a Docker container. All it's going to do is it's going to have one endpoint that accepts an image, and then you pick a provider and you give that provider's API key, which right now we're just doing Gemini is the only thing that's the only provider we've actually done anything with. And then it'll just give back some alt text. And the reason for this, if you're new, the reason why we're doing this, and a lot of people have said, why not just use ChatGPT or Claude's app or whatever, which you can totally do. That's what I do today most of the time. But if you post anything on Bluesky or you post anything on LinkedIn, whenever you add a image, you get that option to provide alt text, right? And like, I want to provide good alt text, but I'm also at the same time not super confident in my abilities to accurately and well describe this image, that I feel like I could just have generative AI do it. And I feel like it would be great at doing that. It would save me time. The alt text would be great, and everyone would be happy. So that's why I'm building. I'm building it more than anything to scratch my own itch. But if people end up finding it useful, they can use it too. So where we're at, though, I guess where we've gotten to is we basically have everything hooked up. Let's go to our program code. We've got basically everything hooked up for our. Oh, that's not aligned properly. Where we can basically get alt text responded using Gemini at this point. And I have a prompt. That's what we worked on last time. We worked on this. We have a prompt that we can use. And where is that? Oh yeah, it's here. It's a resource file. Just a pretty, nothing crazy. It's not wild, but it works. And so what I want to do today is I want to write some evals for the prompt. So I have one end-to-end test right now, which is, again, this end-to-end test is more of anything is supposed to be kind of a smoke test, right? So let's go ahead and run that. Space tr, and if everything works like it should, we should get some. This test should pass, hopefully. If you're watching, I'd love to hear, in the chat, I'd love to hear how your guys' Monday is going. Yeah, okay. And then we got a passing test right here. Nice. Okay, so what I want to do is I basically want to have some evaluations that I run against this prompt, because this prompt is sort of like part of my source code, right? So if I change the prompt, then the quality of my alt text could get better or worse. And so I want to just do some really simple evaluations where we give like 4 or 5 files, 4 or 5 images, and then all we do is we just expect that the alt text contains a few keywords. And that this could get more complex, right? You could have LLM assisted grading. You could do some sort of like cosine similarity. But I think for my use case, this is going to be enough to have some confidence. So we're going to say altgen.api.tests end to end, and then we're going to have a public class, which is going to be, what are we going to call it? Prompt evaluations. Yeah, we'll call it prompt evaluations. I could figure out how to write code in NeoVim. I'm still kind of figuring all this out, with the NeoVim workflow. Okay, so then, yeah, we're gonna have a fact. And what do I care about here? I guess what I care about is public async task, generate when called, it should respond with alt text containing key words. Oh, and I need my closing brackets here. Excuse me. And I probably actually want to parameterize this test, right? So I think what we'll do is we'll have a string, which will be file name or image name, maybe image name. And then, yeah, we'll have not a string, but we'll have an array of keywords. And so this will be theory. And then we're going to have a class, which is going to be test data. And that's going to implement an IEnumerable object array. Like that. This is a way, if you're not familiar, I'm using XUnit, and this is a way to parameterize your tests. Why does it want me to specify? I know I've done this in other tests, so let me see. Why does it want me to? Yeah, okay, IEnumerator, enumerable.getEnumerator. Okay. Prompts. So I'll say IEnumerator, IEnumerable. There we go. We can actually, let's move this to our global usings. Global. That. Then we'll go back to our evaluations. Yeah, so I think, so now we just need to get our images, right? Yeah, so we have that library image. I think is fine. We can reuse that. But we need to get an image here. And obviously some keywords that we need to figure out. We can actually probably use an LLM to help us generate this too, this test data. But we need to write our test, don't we? It's going to be really easy because we're just going to copy this guy. We're going to say yank it, and then I'm going to go back to prompt evaluations, and we're just going to put it here. Do a little formatting. Do end-to-end test. And this is going to want some fixtures, so we need an app factory. And we need a test configuration. Oh, look at all those pretty colors, huh? A lot of squiggly lines there. Thank you, Copilot. That looks good. Okay. So now what we'll do is instead of having the file name here, we'll pass image name. And obviously this is going to cost some money too for us to do this type of tests, this type of evaluations. You're going to have to spend some tokens to do it. So you've got to kind of strike a balance between you know, what you want to spend on your evals and how many of them you want to do, right? So there's kind of a balancing act there. Okay, then we should say alt text should contain all. Nice, contain all keywords. Yep, that's what we're looking for. So I guess real quick, let's just practice with our library, huh? So we already have that. So let me open that file so you guys can see it. Alt-gen, source. No, we want our tests. Source, tests, files. So this is the this is our test file that we've been working with, our test image that I've been working with. So I think two keywords I think should always be in our alt text is obviously library, book should be in there. Probably would. So let's try those. So we'll say book. Actually library, book, and would. I think that's all valid. Okay, so then if we run this test, we'll see if we get what we expect. Let's go ahead and set a breakpoint here too, so we can see what the alt text is. DT to toggle, and then space TD to debug. To debug. I see I have 2 viewers, but no chatters. Okay. So here's our keywords, right? So these are the keywords we're looking for: library, book, would. Here's our alt text. Let's see. Our alt text is a long, dimly lit library. Good. Wooden. I see books. Okay, let's see if that... I don't think it's going to pass, is it? Oh, no, it didn't. Okay, nice. So I'm guessing this does like a substring match. This asserts that a string contains all values present in values. Okay, cool. Yeah, so that's basically exactly what I was looking for. It's just this very simplistic framework, right? Where we're just doing basically a called a fuzzy. It's not really fuzzy, is it? It's just a partial. It's like a partial string match evaluation. So let's give it some other things, and ideally these should probably be things that I wonder if we could just go on my Bluesky and take like four images from that, and we can use those as our small tests. I think we'll do 5. I think we'll do 5 images. Like I said, you could probably do as many as you want to spend, you know, as much as you want to spend on it. Okay, so let's go to my profile, media. So here's an interesting one, right? This would be a good one to probably use because it's interesting. It's a comment, right? So how would it describe that? YouTube comment. Now let's put that in our project files. Save that there. Okay. Let's see. That's my video, my VR video. That's another comment one. That's kind of interesting. This is like ASCII art. ASCII art. A form. This is a picture of a form. Oh, this is from another stream. This is what I was talking about, where people were just kind of not being super nice about my idea here, you know? This is podcast. So what is that? We have 4 now? So we just need one more, right? No, one more. So we do 5. Living room. Okay. So now we can say ASCII art.jpg. This can be living room.jpg. This can be podcast.jpg. And YouTube comment. Okay, and then let's take this. Yank that. And let's use DeepSeek, huh? Let's use DeepSeek. Since this is all the rage right now. Okay. Let's say I am providing the following prompt to an LLM. Then we'll come down here and we'll say, actually, let's put some, I actually don't know what DeepSeek is really trained on, but let's put some tags around this. Oh shoot, I didn't mean to enter that. Dang it. Here. Let's draft this in a little text file first before we copy and paste. So we'll say, here's the prompt we're going to give. Which I shouldn't say I don't know what DeepSeek's trained on. What I mean is, if you work with something like Claude, they say in their documentation that Claude is seeing a lot of XML. So if you use XML tags or XML-like tags in your prompts, it will help clarify and provide better results when you're prompting Claude. So that's what I mean by, like, I don't really know if DeepSeek, if this actually has an impact on DeepSeek's responses. I haven't used DeepSeek a lot, but I'm gonna try it. So I am providing the following prompt to an LLM, which is great. I want to evaluate the responses the LLM provides for specific keywords. Can you, let's say if I am going to give you an image and I'd like you to generate, let's say, 2 or 3 keywords that should always be included in the alt text that the LLM generates. Okay, so we'll go back to DeepSeek here, start a new conversation. Okay, so let's start the conversation. Sure, please provide image. Okay, so let's get an image, or one of our images here. What do I want? I want to go here. I want to go alt gen. I'm going to go into files, and let's start with this guy. Oh, upload failed. Well, that stinks. I wonder why it failed. What about this one? Okay, well, extract only text from images and files. Maybe DeepSeek doesn't support. I honestly don't know. I haven't used DeepSeek. Maybe they don't support that. So let's go to ChatGPT. Good old ChatGPT. Let's have it do it for us. So let's paste our prompt here. Sure, just provide him. Okay. So upload. This is this kind of stuff I like to use LLMs for. You know, it's like low effort things, but like, I don't know. I guess I'm not. Maybe I'm just not creative enough to come up with the keywords, or I don't want to spend the time. So here are 3 keywords: test coverage, succeeded 100%. Okay. So let's use those. And again, this could not be what we end up sticking with, but this is a good place for us to start, right? So we'll say test coverage, 100%, and succeeded. Okay. And then now let's go back, we'll add another file. Let's do the living room next. The living room's kind of interesting because there's a lot in that picture. blankets, computer setup. Okay. But those aren't... I mean, I guess they are keywords, aren't they? Oops. Depending on who you're talking to. Living room. It's funny, since I started using Vim, I find myself trying to use Vim motions to navigate in everything. And then I realize, oh wait, I can't do that. Living room, blankets, computer setup. Computer setup. Blanket. I mean, and obviously, like, I'm going to be manually generating this alt text before I post something. So obviously, there's always going to be kind of a human in the loop in this for this tool. So yeah, so if I don't like the alt text, right, I can modify and change it or rewrite it myself. But I'd just like to have at least some podcast. I wonder where it got Microsoft. Oh, that right there, yeah, maybe that's where it got it. Okay, so let's do podcast. Podcast. Pocket. Cass and Scott and Mark, I think. Podcast, Pocket Cast, Scott and Mark. All right, and then last one. Ugh, we can't attach any more files. Okay, I'll have to do the last one myself. How terrible. YouTube comments. Let's say, definitely expect comment to be in there somewhere. Maybe reply should be in there. And then like I wonder if yeah, maybe we just do 2 replies. Okay, let's see what we get back, huh? So now we'll just have to come up here, we'll debug this again, space TD. We should hit this breakpoint 5 times. So Scott and Mark is in there. Podcast is in there. I can never see long strings in this debugger setup. Let's see, podcasts in there, Scott and Mark, learn to. Pocket Cast is in there. Okay, cool. So let's go ahead and just run all these. Let's take off our breakpoint. Oops. And let's just run them. Okay, I don't know why that fit. Why that? So let's try TR. Interesting. Some error keeps being generated. Let's see. Let's write all this out and quit. Let's go to nvim data. Remove this. CD there, nvim. Let's open up our evaluation. I'll run this again. I'm not sure why I'm getting this error when I the coroutine failed with this message. Bad argument number 2, find. I must have somehow I broke this plugin, or I'm giving it some case it didn't expect to handle. 291 init.lua 291. Let's go see. Let's see. We're looking for neotest-.net, and specifically we're looking for xunit init.lua 291 string.find intermediate result.test name node data.full name. Well, I think we'd have to go looking to figure out what exactly it's tripping up on, wouldn't we? Let's
Yeah. Yep, the cereal too big again.
let me
No, he's eating it. No. Opie.
let me take a screenshot of this so I can look at this later, because I don't really want to go down a rabbit hole on it right now. Neotest playwright. No, not playwright. I was working on Neotest playwright earlier. Neotest.net error. I'll just put that here. Okay, let's run this on the command line and see. Or on the terminal. Disable PS read line. Make this a little bigger for everybody watching. Go to software, altgen, let's say .net test. I think all my, whoops, .net test. All these. Oh, these are all these are log statements from my let's go back here and let's go back to those are log statements from my API. And so what I need to do is I need to go in here and I need to say, yeah, I need to configure the web host. But I don't need to configure that. What I need to do is I need to say builder dot configure logging, and then I need to say L clear providers, I think is what I need to say. And this needs to be using Microsoft.extensions.logging, I believe. Logging. And I think that will prevent all of those. Yeah, that'll prevent all those log statements. So this one failed because why? Create file. Could not find, oh, couldn't find that file. Okay. Found internal server error. Test coverage 100%. Oh, yeah, these alt texts are better than library book. It doesn't contain wood. Could not find file. YouTube comment. Test coverage. Test. Okay, so maybe ChatGPT wasn't a good way to generate our keywords. So it couldn't find some of my files though. So why couldn't it find YouTube-comment? YouTube_comment. Oh, that's because I left off the extension. Contain all. Does this take like options? Because I'd like to do this, I think, case insensitive. Let's see. Contain or match. No. Contain all's fine. And we'll just we'll just lowercase this to lower variant. Then we'll just make all these lowercase down here. Okay, so let's do library book. Let's do summary 100% success. Let's do living room. Let's just do single words too. It's living room, dog, podcast, Scott, whoops. I should probably undo that keybind. I set up a keybind that basically if I'm in insert mode and I spam one of the navigation keys, it'll exit. Oops. But now I'm thinking that's actually not very good. Okay, let's go back over here and rerun our tests. Oops. Coming up on my hour here. Summary. Replies. Comment. I wonder why is this one failing? Create when called with it should library summary replies. Look. This is the problem with probabilistic systems. Comment. Let's say comment. Social. Media. Scott Mark. Room. Living room. Dog. Summary. Okay, so 100% success and maybe test is more important there. Library. Hall, I guess. Hall. .NET tests. Curious how much I'm spending per run here. Long perspective view. Sometimes it just puts library in there, sometimes it doesn't. How many failed? Was that the only one that failed? 3 failed. 1 returned 500. No, both my integration tests are failing. Library. I feel like it should pick up on library, don't you? Let me go fix my integration test though real quick. I don't know why this is failing. Do not know why this guy's failing. Space DT. We need to go to integration. Integration. There you go. Space TD. So status code is okay. Is it because my I think it's because I'm returning an empty object here. So what we're actually going to do is, now that we have those strong types that we talked about, well, yes, but no. Whoops. Oh, Copilot, stop. Sometimes Copilot is just really, like right now, I just want to disable it. Copilot, disable, because like sometimes it's just so aggressive. JSON serializer dot serialize new Gemini response. And then this is going to be a list. This is a list of candidates. New candidate. And then the candidate takes an array. No, takes a content object. So new. And then this is going to take an array. This is going to take Gemini role dot model we don't have yet. Public const string model. I'm having one of those paranoid moments where I need to check my audio to make sure that my voice is still in sync. I wonder if I'll ever overcome this paranoia that I have now. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Okay. It's still hanging in there. People are gonna watch these videos and be like, what the heck is this guy doing? He periodically faces the camera and says random words. Okay. Nope, that's not where we were. We were at generation. integration test. And we were going to have a new text part of this is a response. That's actually pretty ugly. With all the news there, that is very ugly. Okay, now rerun this. It failed. Why did it fail? Does not contain a definition for Gemini role model. Oh, okay. That's because I didn't write everything out. Okay, why'd this fail? Okay. What do I'm gonna debug this. So the response is okay. And then we step over that. We step into here. Okay, so this through. Why did this throw? Failed to deserialize the Gemini response. So why did it fail? Let's look at the content string. Content parts. Oh. Yeah. Yep, that's gonna fail. Because it should be in case insensitive. But we basically need to recreate these. So let's not, okay, so let's not use, where are we at? Where are we at? Let's come back here. Let's not use this. Let's actually define response. Remove unnecessary usings. We're gonna delete those and we're gonna take those to our global usings file. So let's go to their documentation and let's get an actual response. Google, Gemini, API. I don't know if they have example responses. on here. Why is this taking so long to load? Google. Oh, there we go. Man, that took a long time to load, didn't it? Okay, let's go to Gemini. Can you create a sample JSON response for Gemini's text generation API? I don't think that's right. I don't think it returned proper candidates. Did it? Yeah, candidates has a content object. The content object has parts. Okay, so we're gonna do this ourselves. Or actually what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to this end-to-end test. Where is it? End-to-end test. There you go. Not end-to-end, this guy. And we are gonna go to our program file. We're gonna set a breakpoint right there, which is already set, so I didn't need to do that. And then we're gonna say content, and we're gonna yank that to our clipboard. We're gonna come over to the internet and say JSON formatter. And we are gonna format. Well, actually, we need to remove all the new lines, don't we? Actually, this is probably a better task for an LLM to do. Let's see. Turn this string into properly formatted JSON. But yeah. Continue. Then we'll go back to our integration tests. Now I'll paste this in here. Let's see, it's complaining because obviously we have brackets in here, but we can get rid of that by doing something like this, I think. We put three, is it 3 quotes? Yeah, how do we do this? And they added support for this recently. C# JSON literals. Yeah, okay, so we just need to double quote our I come down here and I add a quote there, add a quote there. Oops. Ugh. There's probably a macro or something I can do in Vim to make this easier, huh? I don't want to do a search and replace though. Let's see. I'm just going to consider this really a lot of practice at navigating. So I'm going to consider it. Someone's watching me and is cringing while I do this, thinking, you can do it faster. There's a faster way. You know what? I don't doubt there is. Oh man, we have a lot more to do, don't we? Well, I guess not a lot. What happens if I do... Can I do that? And then can I just search and replace in there? Whoops. So if I go this, can I just search and replace within... No, it doesn't look like it. It looks like it's finding everything. So write that down as a Vim thing I need to figure out, how to search and replace in just a selection. In VS Code, I would use yeah, in VS Code, I would use probably search and replace. I guess I probably could have asked Gemini to do this for me. Double quote all the strings. It's done now though. I'm down this path. I've made a decision. I think someone spammed my chat, didn't they? Let's see. We're gonna indent this. Yeah. My watch is yelling at me to stand up. These are not really details I care about, but for the sake of ugh. What the heck? I turned on caps lock. Gosh dang it. I tell you what, when you turn on caps lock in Vim, things get really crazy really fast. I hear a lot of people actually map escape to caps lock. Which isn't a bad idea, honestly. Who does this go to? Usage? It goes to usage, huh? There we go. Almost done. Almost done. I think... why is it complaining? Okay, so now let's try to run this again. Space TR. Cannot open. Right, quit all. When I had my caps lock mistake, I did something to... This guy's... I'm gonna ban Stony Mini Computer. I'm banning you. Bam. Drop the ban hammer. Where's my... Doesn't seem like my My LSP isn't doing its job, it seems like. Okay, there we go. Now that passed. Okay, cool. But why is my LSP broke now? Copilot. It says OmniSharp's attached, but I don't see any syntax highlighting. Okay, so write all. Close. Now let's go over here. Let's rerun these. Okay, oh, 2 failed. Okay, so it says screenshot of online replies to a social media. One user calls the short awful while the creator, viewers for the feedback, explains their creative goals. Living room, small dog, blue, couches. Okay, so maybe my evaluations are just bad, huh? My keywords are just bad. Okay, so let's do dog, blue, Einstein. How do you spell that? Einstein? Einstein. This is probably an example where your evaluations are probably better suited to be LLM assisted. If you're allowing for temperature, which I am, so you're allowing for creativity, this is probably would be a good example to basically have another prompt that takes your alt text prompt, sends it to another LLM and says, given this prompt, given this alt text that was generated on a scale of 0 to 1, you know, how relevant or how accurate or how well does this alt text match the given image? But that's just more complex than what I want to get into. I don't really want to do all that right now. So feedback. Social. Was social on in that alt text? No, none of those 3 words were. Awful. So library, yeah. So library is obviously not a reliable. Book, maybe bookshelves. Seems like bookshelves is always in there. Awful's not in there. Bookshelves wasn't in there. Einstein wasn't in there. Okay, so let's say blue. I know I'm changing my evals, but I just want to get it to a place where it... There you go. Look, they all pass. I'm gonna put a note here because I think to do use LLM assisted prompt evaluation instead of doing partial string matching. Better suited due to subjective nature of the task. Yeah. But yeah, so okay, so now we have our prompt evaluation done, and I've been streaming for how long? I've been streaming for an hour and 18 minutes. Okay, so I need to wrap up. But yeah, so that's yeah, that'll work. I don't think there's really anything else. Let's see. We do need to do something. In here, how do you do a comment in... Is that how you do a comment? So what we need to do... to do add test coverage. And so we have coverlet already here. So what we can do is we can set up test coverage to be able to see how much our test covers our lines of code that we've written in our actual program. So I want to set that up. But I think just about everything else, like this endpoint is basically doing what I envisioned it would do. Obviously, we need to implement other providers. Oh, I should probably make this thread safe to use lazy t. That way it's thread safe. Yeah. Let's do a good find G to do. Generate the alt text. No, that's not there anymore. So write all find grep to do. Okay, there's one there, there's one there. Yeah. What's this? Probably need to consider upper bound for file size. Yeah, we still need to do that at some point, but I'm not going to let that stop us from continue to move forward. This also needs to take into account provider specific limits. Okay, I'm kind of interested. Let's take a quick peek and see if I can figure out how much those test evals cost me on Gemini usage. Gemini, actually, let's go console, Gemini AI Studio. I want to switch accounts. I'm doing this off screen because I don't want to accidentally leak something. Let's see. Switch accounts again. Go to the console. Excuse me. Let's see, Gemini API, yep. See all credit usage. I have like $600 in credits. How do I see usage for the let's see. Google Gemini usage. Gemini logs. How do I just want to like, ChatGPT has a really nice way. Claude does too. How to view Gemini API usage. Let's see. Huh. It says total cost is, it says total usage is 0. That's weird. Yeah, it says Gemini API usage is 0. Weird. Maybe I'm not using enough to register. That's weird. Okay, let's see. That is all we're gonna have time for today. I've got to wrap up. But yeah, so I think that's the general idea, right, behind evaluations is you can do. Anthropic actually has some really good. Let me see if I can find that, because I think you guys would probably find this helpful. Anthropic evaluations. This is a great paper. This paper is a great paper. That goes a little bit more into the weeds, but they have create strong empirical evaluations. Yeah, so they have several really good examples of like different ways you can do evaluations, right? So you can do sentiment analysis, not sentiment analysis. You can do exact match evaluation, right? Where you're just basically checking text for text. You can extend that to do what I'm doing, which is basically partial matching. You can do cosine similarity. You can do LLM based, right? Or LLM assisted versions, which is probably more what I need to be doing for my particular use case, since I'm allowing that alt text to be kind of creative and I'm basically allowing some variance in that description, and so it'd probably be better to use some sort of LLM based Likert scale probably, but also could be binary, right? We could just ask does this alt text describe the image according to the constraints in the prompt? Yes, no. And we could use a different model than Gemini to do the grading. But yeah, Anthropic has a ton of great documentation on evals, not documentation, but literature on evals that I think is really good. All right, I'm gonna wrap up. I know that wasn't the most exciting session, but yeah, we got accomplished what we wanted to. So can't complain there. All right, I'll see you guys probably tomorrow. During the week, I'm gonna keep trying to stream kind of over my lunch break, and I'll stream on Twitch and then I'll upload to YouTube. So if you're watching me live, great, awesome. If you're watching me after the fact on YouTube, thanks for watching. I appreciate it, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your Monday. I'll talk to you later.